Test, test. Is this thing on? Hello. Hello. There you are, Odooers. I'm so glad you could join me for yet another quality check lesson. Today, we're going to be learning about worksheet checks. As you already know, Odoo offers a few different check types, but out of all of them, worksheet checks are far and away the most flexible. That's because worksheet checks consist of a worksheet for employees to fill out, a worksheet that you can actually customize to your heart's content. Doesn't that sound pretty powerful? Well, because it is. So let's jump right in, enough chit chat so I can show you how to take full advantage of all of that power. Now, unlike all of the other quality check types, worksheet checks are not enabled by default. To enable them, we actually need to go over to our manufacturing application over here, and we're going to select configuration and settings, Odooers. Now, inside of the operations tab, which is the first one we see in our section, we're going to make sure that we have both the quality option selected and checked off over there, as well as quality worksheet. If you haven't done that already, be sure to check those off and then save. Always save. Now, enabling this makes the worksheet option appear in the type field when we create a new quality control point, aka QCP or quality check. So you're probably thinking, we're ready to do that, right? Wrong. Very, very wrong. Before we can create a worksheet QCP or a check, we need to create a worksheet template. A worksheet template is a blank form that is filled out by the employee conducting the actual quality check. We can always configure those types of templates with any number of different fields. So to do so, we're actually going to go out of here once we've saved. Make sure you saved. We're going to open up Quality app for quality time. And we're going to select configuration. And you kind of guessed it. We're going to select quality worksheet templates. So I have already configured a template for us to use as an example for the quality check workflow, which you're going to see later inside of this video. So the one that we want to talk about today is chair inspection. But let's click on new to open a blank template, just so I can use that to show you the basics of a template design. So it's actually kind of straightforward because before we can configure the template, we need to give it a name. So let's type, I don't know, something like example, because we're learning example. And then we're going to click on the save manually button. That's all I'm going to do for this one. So once that we do, a new design template button appears up here at the top. So once that you actually click that, it opens the template in Odoo Studio, allowing us to finally modify it. You give that a little bit of a load, and we're there. So we're only going to cover worksheet template designs in this video, but Odoo Studio can be used to customize a ton of other stuff in your Odoo database. So be sure to check out our videos on that. So inside of Studio, the main part of the screen shows us the actual template itself. Templates are created with two default fields. We have what's called comments, and then we also have a text entry field, which allows employees to leave comments, and passed as well, which is a little checkbox that employees can enable to confirm the check has passed. So over here we have a left sidebar. There is a variety of other fields that I can drag and drop onto this template to customize it. This includes, well, if you take a look at all of what we got, more checkboxes. We have stuff for images, it looks like, and even something for files. It's kind of useful. Whole lot more too. In fact, I can also, if you notice it, I can even add tabs, which happens to be also on this list as the component as well. And that's if I want to have multiple pages or even just columns as well, just to help organize the fields in it. Let's, in our case, I think we should have a date. It's always good to have dates on these things. We'll just put it right there. We're just going to drag and drop it. If I want to customize the fields itself, I can click on new date as a field itself, and then it'll allow me to basically just change stuff over here on the other column as properties. So from here, I can do a few things, including making the field required, which you just tick the required field right there, and it makes it now a required checkbox. And now we can also change the name by typing in something like today's date. Sweet. And now we give that a second to load it up. And now I could even add a tooltip to provide an explanation about the field. Like if I type in something like specify, if I can spell the day, the actual date. Boom, we're done. And that's our little tooltip. Once again, oops, clicked away, but we're still okay. I can also remove the field from the actual template by scrolling to the very bottom of the view tab over here. And you guessed it, we want to select remove from view and then hit OK. Gone. The date itself is just gone. And those are the basics of designing a worksheet template inside of Odoo Studio. Not too difficult, right? We stumbled together. So now let's take a look at a QCP that I've configured to create worksheet quality checks using the chair inspection worksheet template that I configured ahead of time. This worksheet only has one field, which is a checkbox titled Assembly Complete, which an employee can check to confirm the assembly of a product has indeed been completed. So to get to the QCP, I'm actually going to click on the word quality control up at the top and select control points over here. And we want to find our chair inspection one and open it up, or QCP 00015. So I've set the products field over here to the chair product, and the operations itself is main warehouse manufacturing operation. This means that a quality check will be created every time an MO is confirmed for one or more chairs. So inside of the type field over here, you'll notice I happen to have worksheet quality check type. This check type selected allows two new sections to appear below. The first is titled Templates, and it allows us to select a worksheet template to use for this check. I've selected the chair inspection worksheet that I talked about earlier as well. And then below that we have success conditions as a section, which is used to configure the rules that the completed worksheet must meet for the check to pass. I can add additional rules by clicking on new rule if I would like to as well. Each rule has 3 fields to configure, with the second and third changing depending on the condition selected in the first field. In this case, I have the condition over here is set to assembly complete as a checkbox right there. And then once that we have that, it is the only field on the chair inspection worksheet template that we've selected above. Any field included on the worksheet template will appear here as a condition, along with some other default conditions that are always available, like the date that the quality check was created, along with the specific employee who filled it out. And that's pretty important. So up next, beyond that, you also have the option to select the field which is set to as is or is not, which in our case, for our equation, we set it to is. And in the final field, we can select the set or not set. In this case, I've selected it to be selected to set, but your rule might actually differ. Altogether, this rule reads as assembly complete is set, which means that the assembly complete checkbox must be enabled for the rule to be met and the check to pass. So try to figure out the logic for your rules. So finally, I just want to make a quick note about the message if failure tab over here at the bottom of the QCP. Here I've instructed employees to create a quality alert if the check fails. So now that we've seen how a worksheet QCP is configured, let me show you how to process a check created by one. I've already created an MO for one unit of our chair product. So I'm actually going to open it now. So we're going to go inside of the manufacturing application, operations, and manufacturing orders. Let's open up our sole one right there. So since the QCP we looked at automatically created a quality check, small doopsie for this MO, a purple quality checks button appears up at the top of the MO. So I'm going to click on that button and we have a pop-up window from which I can complete our worksheet check over here from earlier, the assembly complete checkbox. We can check it off or leave it unchecked and then click save. Remember, checking the box passes the check while leaving it unchecked causes it to fail. So if I click the checkbox, the quality check will pass and I can move on with the rest of the MO. However, let's see what happens when the checkbox is left unchecked. So let's hit save. And after I do so, whoops, look at that. A new pop-up window appears with the message that I entered if it's failed. If you recall, this is the same one as the message if failure tab. So I'm going to click OK to exit out of this, at which point a purple quality checks button is replaced by a quality alert button up here at the top, which when you click it will open a quality alert form in a new page. And that's everything I've got to show you for now, Odooers. As a last quick tip, you'll notice that as well, the smart button up at the top has turned red now. Today you learn how to configure new quality worksheet templates, create QCPs using the worksheet type, and process worksheet quality checks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.